Thank you for joining me for the 2021 MME Day M-STEP Test Administration presentation. I am Phoebe Gose, the M-STEP Test Administration and Reporting Consultant at MDE. This presentation will discuss M-STEP Test Administration policies and tasks for grades 8 and 11. It is divided into 3 sections: before test administration, during the administration, and after test administration. I want to start with some notes regarding the 2021 administration and how the COVID-19 pandemic will or will not impact testing. First and foremost, the health and safety of students and educators is our first concern. The state of Michigan is seeking a waiver for the requirement to administer the statewide summative assessments for spring 2021. We have not yet received a waiver for testing, so we're continuing preparations for the 2021 administration. The 2021 MME and PSAT and high school test administration training introduction presentation of this MME Day training has more information about the waiver request. A few more notes for 2021 are included here. First, there is no remote option for administration of the M-STEP. All tests must be administered in person by an in-person test administrator. Next, sometimes we refer to virtual schools in our documentation and in this presentation. So to be clear, virtual schools are schools that always provide instruction virtually, like cyber schools. We're not talking about schools that provide remote instruction as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic in those instances. That is an important distinction to remember. Be sure to view the OEAA Secure Site presentation of this MME Day training for more information. Next, there's a new page in the OEAA Secure Site that allows you to communicate with OEAA about COVID-related school closures. This is a place for documentation and communication, but doesn't impact accountability at all. There's a slide in this presentation where I'll go into more information about the page, and more information about this page is also available in the OEAA Secure Site presentation for this MME Day training. Finally, and you'll probably hear this a few more times in the presentation, but it's especially important this year, make sure you're signed up for Spotlight. As things change or we have updated information, we communicate that through the Spotlight. So that's the best way for you to make sure you're getting the most up-to-date information that we have. There are a number of resources and activities that need to take place before M-STEP administration. This first chapter will discuss everything that needs to be done before testing begins. First, I'm going to share the resources that are available to you throughout the test administration. Next, there are several systems that are used in administering the M-STEP. These systems will be discussed so that you are aware of what tasks need to be done and which system to use. After that, I will share the M-STEP testing schedule and discuss the requirements of the M-STEP test schedule that each school and district must prepare. At the end of this before test administration training chapter, I will discuss how to prepare both students and staff for M-STEP. Resources to use with students will be shared, as well as the trainings and resources that your staff will need. First is the Assessment Coordinator Training Guide. This guide provides information that takes assessment coordinators through the tasks and responsibilities done before, during, and after the administration of all of Michigan's statewide summative assessments. If you are a new assessment coordinator, it is suggested that you progress through the entire training guide in the order presented. For returning assessment coordinators, this guide can be used as a refresher. You could use sections of this guide as you approach each task, or if you run into difficulty with any assessment administration task, you can use this document as a reference material. While this training guide provides information for each task that must be done, it is not intended to replace the testing manuals, guides, and other test administration related resources that are provided. You can find this guide through the link at the top of all assessment pages. The Assessment Coordinator Training Guide webpage also includes a link to bookmarks that you can download and save to your web browser for easy links to many assessment-related websites. Other important resources for you to review as you prepare for the Spring 2021 test administration are the Guide to State Assessments and the Assessment Integrity Guide. The Guide to State Assessments includes detailed information about state assessments and is important to review. The Assessment Integrity Guide provides information on the prevention and detection of testing irregularities and guidance for follow-up and resolution of any identified testing irregularity in order to ensure that all procedures before, during, and after the test administration lead to student results that accurately reflect a valid and reliable measure of each student's unique and true educational knowledge, skills, and abilities. The Assessment Integrity Guide has been updated for the Spring 2021 administration and should be reviewed for the updated testing policies. You can find these documents, plus a new training based on the Assessment Integrity Guide, by going to the MSTEP webpage. The link for the Assessment Security Modules registration is under the Professional Development section. The MSTEP Test Administration Manual will be available in mid to late January and includes detailed guidelines for before, during, and after the MSTEP test administration. The Test Administration Manual provides test administration policies and procedures, as well as step-by-step information for each assessment task that needs to be done before, during, and after testing. Checklists are also provided in an appendix with links to each task to help you keep track of everything that needs to be done. You'll also find test administration policies, including the scratch paper policy, information about supports and accommodations available for the MSTEP assessment, and the incident reporting table that includes potential test irregularities and their resolution for both paper pencil and online test administrations. Next, we're going to review what's new in MSTEP test administration. The Important Dates document for MSTEP Spring 2021 administration is currently available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. In addition to the PDF document that lists all MSTEP-related important dates, MDE has created an Excel spreadsheet that includes the important dates for every statewide summative assessment administered by MDE. This way, users can filter the dates according to the assessments and assessment windows they will administer. For example, an assessment coordinator who's responsible for 8th grade testing only could filter the spreadsheet on MSTEP and PSAT 89 for grade 8 to view only the important dates for grade 8. Alternatively, an assessment coordinator who is responsible for all high school testing could filter on MSTEP, PSAT 89 for grade 8, PSAT 89 for grade 9, PSAT 10, SAT, and ACT. This user would want to further filter the testing window column for grades 5, 8, and 11 and for all grades, so that only the MSTEP dates associated with all grades and with the first testing window appear on the list. Instructions for how to filter the Excel spreadsheet are included on the second tab, which is highlighted in red. In addition to this spreadsheet, OEAA is currently preparing a Google Calendar that will include all of the important dates by assessment program. Watch the spotlight for information about the calendar and when it is available. The test directions have been expanded to become the Test Administrator's Directions and Manual. This was done so that test administrators are no longer required to read sections of the TAM. Instead, all of the test administration information and policies that test administrators need to know to administer the MSTEP are included in this one document. The test administrator's directions and manual documents are still grade specific, and they are specific to test mode. There is a separate document for each grade by test mode. It is required that test administrators read this document prior to administering the test. TTS for directions only is available as a universal tool. It is important to note that only TTS for directions is a universal tool. TTS on the test itself is still a designated support, while TTS passages, which is an accommodation, is available for grades 6 and 7 ELA only. If a school chooses to use TTS for test directions as a universal tool, the test administrator directions provide a script to follow to verify student test tickets, verify the correct test, and to provide an introduction. Direction is provided for test administrators to follow in the test administrator's directions and manual. If a school does not choose to use TTS for test directions, directions are also provided for test administrators to read in the test administrator's directions and manual. Assessment security training is required. District and building assessment coordinators are required to complete the Michigan Virtual Assessment Security modules and to read the Assessment Integrity Guide. Test administrators must either complete the Michigan Virtual Assessment Security modules or read the Assessment Integrity Guide. For coordinators or administrators who have already completed the full Assessment Security modules, a refresher course is available in lieu of repeating the full course. The M-STEP science test will be operational in spring 2021. Students will receive 7 clusters each. A cluster is an assessment task that includes a stimulus, which can include 1 or more parts, and 5 to 8 items. Each item cluster is aligned to 1 topic bundle of content standards. There are 2 parts and 2 test tickets for grade 8, and 1 part and 1 test ticket for grade 11. The time estimate to complete the science test is 90 minutes for both grade 8 and 11. This time estimate does not include administrative tasks, such as handing out test tickets or reading the directions. The M-STEP Social Studies test will still measure the Michigan academic standards that were adopted in 2007. Changes made to the Social Studies standards in 2019 have not been implemented and are not reflected on the 2021 M-STEP Social Studies test. Any updates to the test will be communicated by MDE. New for the 2021 administration, the Social Studies test is 1 test part and 1 test ticket for both grades 8 and 11. Off-site testing is for schools who cannot test on-site at their school buildings. As a note, this does not apply to schools who are providing remote instruction due to the COVID-19 pandemic. These schools should complete the new COVID-19 school closures page on the OEAA secure site. These schools are encouraged to administer the M-STEP to students if it can be done safely. Off-site testing is used for virtual schools, schools that offer virtual instruction as their educational program. Schools offering remote instruction in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic are not considered virtual schools. Off-site testing occurs for individual students when a school is providing educational services to a homebound student, students are suspended during the test window, or students are expelled with service. The off-site test administration request is found under the Assessment Registration tab in the OEAA secure site. Select Off-site Test Administration Request. The window to submit off-site test administration requests is open January 6, 2021 through May 6, 2021. This is the new COVID-19 school closures page that has been added to the OEAA secure site. This page is available under the Assessment Registration tab on the secure site. Use this form to document your school's closure dates and dates of remote instruction that are related to the COVID-19 pandemic. This form provides a way for schools to document their COVID-related closures and for MDE to understand which schools and districts are impacted by COVID closures. It does not remove or impact accountability requirements at this time. More information about this page is available in the OEAA secure site portion of this MME Day training. Watch the spotlight for the most up-to-date information about accountability requirements. There are several tasks to be done before the M-STEP test administration that occur in the OEAA secure site and for online testing in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Here I will review these tasks. The OEAA secure site is the assessment system used for many administration tasks, including pre-identifying students for testing, setting up online test sessions, materials ordering, reporting any testing irregularities that occur through the incident reporting tool, and after testing, you can access the downloadable student data files and reports through the secure site. The new COVID-19 school closure page and the offsite testing pages are also here. For access to the OEAA secure site, you can go to www.michigan.gov/secure-site-training and select How do I get access to the secure site? The OEAA secure site presentation of this MME Day training provides detailed information about how to perform the test administration tasks done in the secure site. The DRC INSIGHT Portal was formerly called eDIRECT, and it's DRC's test management software. Assessment coordinators can set up test sessions in the DRC INSIGHT Portal, as well as in the secure site depending on the date. Student supports and accommodations need to be set up in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Test tickets and rosters are printed through the DRC INSIGHT Portal, and assessment coordinators can monitor test completion in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. There is a user guide available in the DRC INSIGHT Portal that details the process for each of these tasks. It can be found in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Select the Here link in the Documents and Training bullet point, then select Documents, then Show Documents. Test administrators do not need access to the DRC INSIGHT Portal. All student tutorials, mini-modules, and the test administration manual can be accessed on the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Technology coordinators, district coordinators, and building coordinators do need to have access to the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Access to the DRC INSIGHT Portal is assigned in the secure site. The district administrator needs to assign the role in the secure site, and then the user information is pulled from the secure site into the DRC INSIGHT Portal. The new user then receives an email from the DRC INSIGHT Portal with their username and password information. Secure Site Training provides training documents at www.michigan.gov/secure-site-training. You can view the How do I get access to the DRC INSIGHT Portal document for help with gaining access to the DRC INSIGHT Portal. You can use the Create a New User or Disabling and Changing User Access documents if you are a district coordinator who needs to assign user access in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Users can create and edit test sessions in the DRC INSIGHT Portal starting on March 5, 2021. When you are in the DRC INSIGHT Portal main page, select Manage Test Sessions, which will bring up a window to select. Once you select Manage Test Sessions, you will be prompted to select the test administration and your entity information. At the bottom of the page, select Add Session button to view this screen. Test tickets are printed from the test session screen in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Log into the DRC INSIGHT Portal, select My Applications, then Test Management, and then go to Manage Test Sessions. Complete the test, entity information, content and grade information, and select Show Sessions. This will open to show test sessions. From here, you can select a test session and print all tickets. You can also print tickets individually by selecting the test session, then choosing the Edit Print Test Ticket status icon that is displayed to the right of the test session. Once you have opened the Edit Print Ticket status page, you can select the individual student or students whose test tickets you are printing, and then select Print Selected. Online District and Building Assessment Coordinator trainings on the administrative functions in the DRC INSIGHT Portal will be held on March 2 at 10 o'clock with DRC. These will also be posted in the DRC INSIGHT Portal after the initial presentation. To view them, while in the DRC INSIGHT Portal, you will go to My Applications, then select General Information. From this view, select the Documents tab, and these trainings will be included in the list. Information about accessing or registering for the training will be spotlight closer to the event date. Next, we will review the M-STEP testing schedules. There are two 4-week windows for online M-STEP testing. The first online testing window for grades 5, 8, and 11 is the testing window for all 8th and 11th grade testers. This online testing window is from April 12 through May 7. This graphic, which you can find in the Guide to State Assessments document, also includes the testing schedules for M-STEP grades 3, 4, 6, and 7, MyAccess, SAT, ACT, PSAT, and WIDA. All of these schedules are also available in the Guide to State Assessments document, which is available on the M-STEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. The Guide to State Assessments also includes the test administration dates for paper-pencil testing. These are the testing time estimates for 8th grade. For M-STEP, the time estimates for each test do not include time for reading directions, answering questions, or other classroom tasks. The PSAT 8-9 is a timed test, while M-STEP is not a timed test. The operational M-STEP science test is estimated to take 90 minutes to complete over 2 test sessions for 8th grade. The M-STEP social studies is 1 part and the total testing time is estimated at 60 minutes. The PSAT 8-9 time estimate includes schedule breaks and will take 2 hours and 35 minutes total. These are the testing time estimates for 11th grade. Again, for M-STEP, the time estimates for each test do not include time for reading directions, answering questions, or other classroom tasks. M-STEP is not a timed test, so the times provided are estimates to be used for scheduling purposes. The operational 11th grade M-STEP science test is a 1-part test and is estimated to take 90 minutes. The M-STEP social studies is also 1 part, and the total testing time is estimated at 30 minutes. Next, I will discuss how to prepare students and staff for testing. In preparing students, it is important to use the M-STEP student tutorials. When testing, students need to be aware of the tools that are available to them in the testing engine. The tutorials in Online Tools Training, or OTT, provide students with this important information and practice, so that when they are taking the M-STEP, they are thinking about the content and not the testing engine tools. To access these tutorials, go to the DRC INSIGHT Portal webpage, www.mi.drcedirect.com. You do not need a username or password to view the tutorials. Select the link in the second bullet point, Documents and Training Materials, on the sign-in page, then select the Test Tutorials tab and you can see all of the tutorials in one location. It is suggested that teachers review these tutorials in the classroom with all students and then provide students the opportunity to practice using the OTTs. OTTs can only be accessed in a Chrome browser. The link to OTTs is available on the M-STEP webpage under the Content-Specific Information section. For preparing staff, a frequent question that we hear in preparation for the test administration is what are the guidelines for who can be a test administrator? The Assessment Integrity Guide provides detailed information regarding how schools and districts identify testing personnel. Test administrators can be selected from this list: licensed teachers or administrators employed by the district, paraprofessionals or non-licensed administrative personnel employed by the school or district who are trained in the test administration policies and procedures for the test being administered can administer the test, licensed substitute teachers who are employed by the district for the purpose of administering the test and who have been trained in the test administration policies and procedures for the test being administered can administer the test. Trained proctors may also be assigned to assist a test administrator. Test proctors are most typically a teacher's aide, paraprofessional, or another school or district staff member. A proctor must be supervised directly by a test administrator, must be trained with appropriate testing procedures, and may not independently administer any test. It is important that all staff involved in administering the test are trained in their responsibilities of providing an appropriate testing environment. This includes ensuring the testing room is quiet and orderly, and that seating is arranged in such a way that discourages any sharing of responses. Test administrators must ensure that any content-related poster or display is removed or covered. Posters of encouragement or classroom rules, such as those that say "do your best," are permitted. MDE has developed an Insight Tools poster that is approved to be displayed during the test administration. The poster is available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP under the Current Assessment Administration section. Look for the link titled MDE Approved Insight Tools Poster. The link opens a page that details the guidelines for the use of the poster, and the posters are available in 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17, and 16 by 24 sizes for printing and posting. This is the only Insight Tools poster that is allowed to be posted during testing, and the posters must not be within reach of the students during testing. It must be displayed in the classroom and cannot be placed at student desks or computers. All word lists, maps, math formulas or tables, or any other content must be covered or removed. Test-taking tips or other materials that might provide students an advantage over others who do not have access to material are also prohibited and must be covered or removed. Buildings and districts must retain test schedules as described in the updated Assessment Integrity Guide. It is possible that a testing schedule may be requested by MDE staff, if relevant, when working to resolve an incident report. Test schedules must include the district and building name, the building assessment coordinator's name, date of the assessment administration, the location of the testing session, starting and ending time of the test session, the test that was administered, and the names of the test administrators and proctors for the test session. The Assessment Integrity Guide provides a sample testing schedule in Appendix B. The sample includes the required components of the testing schedule. The Assessment Security Training Series is required for assessment coordinators. Test administrators must either complete the Assessment Security Training modules and/or read the AIG. For coordinators or administrators who have already completed the full Assessment Security Module course, a refresher course is available in place of the full training series. This training is currently available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP under the Assessment Training and Resources for Educators section. Next, we will move on to Chapter 2 of our MSTEP Test Administration Training. In this section of the presentation, I will discuss tasks that are done during the administration of the MSTEP. In this chapter, we will discuss how to get started with both online and paper pencil test administration, what tasks need to be done during the test administration, and some common problems that come up and how to address them if they do. We'll begin with getting started with the administration for both online administration and paper pencil administration. The Supports and Accommodations guidance document and Supports and Accommodations table should be reviewed and referenced throughout the test administration. It includes important information about allowable universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations. The Supports and Accommodations table in the guidance document provides information about the universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations that are available by grade and content. Be sure to view the Student Supports and Accommodations presentation of this MME Day training for more information about what is available for students during testing. Here I will discuss the tasks to get started for the online administration. Test sessions can be set up in the secure site if it is done by February 23, 2021. If not done by that day, then test sessions can be created in the DRC INSIGHT Portal beginning on March 5, 2021. It is important that the pre-identification through the secure site is accurate so that all students who are expected to test are assigned to the appropriate testing sessions. It is also important to be sure students are put into all test sessions that are required for their grade. The DRC INSIGHT Portal does have functionality that will help with tracking progress toward completion of testing, but the system is based on the students who are in the test session. It does not identify a student who is not assigned to the test session. During the pre-ID process, it is important that any students who are testing using MyAccess are pre-ID'd to MyAccess and removed from the MSTEP assessment. This will prevent students who take MyAccess from being pulled into the DRC INSIGHT Portal and being assigned a test ticket, which may result in a student taking both the MyAccess and MSTEP assessments. Next, the appropriate accommodations must be assigned in the DRC INSIGHT Portal before test tickets are generated. Any embedded accommodation, that is, an accommodation that is administered within the testing engine, must be assigned in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. For detailed directions on assigning accommodations in the DRC INSIGHT Portal, go to the DRC INSIGHT Portal user guide that is available on the DRC INSIGHT Portal website. Select the link in the second bullet point, Documents and Training Materials, then select Show Documents to search documents. Once all students have been assigned to all of the appropriate test sessions and accommodations have been assigned, test tickets need to be printed, sorted according to your testing schedule, and distributed to test administrators. Remember that test tickets and accompanying rosters are secure materials and must be handled securely. Once test administrators begin testing, test administration progress should be monitored and any issues that come up addressed. If there is a testing irregularity that requires submission to the MDE for resolution, authorized users can submit incident reports through the secure site. Incident reports are expected to be submitted within 2 school days of notification of a testing irregularity. I will discuss this process more when we get to the Common Problems and What to Do section of this presentation. All directions in the test administrator's directions and manuals are grade specific. It's important for test administrators to read the test directions before administering the test. Test administrators' directions and manuals for both the paper, pencil, and online administrations are sent to schools and will be made available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. Test tickets are a secure material, so it is important these are collected after the testing session to be securely destroyed or to be stored with secure test materials if the student has not completed the test and will resume testing in another test session. As a reminder, students may only have one test ticket at a time. Giving a student more than one test ticket is a security risk and does not allow for necessary breaks between tests to ensure students perform their best. Most accommodations are printed on the test tickets. However, there may be other accommodations, such as extended time, that are not listed on the test ticket. Be sure test administrators are made aware of all accommodations for students in their testing session. For the paper pencil administration, test sessions must be scheduled according to the published schedule. Assessment coordinators must ensure that barcode labels are affixed to the student answer documents. Barcode labels are required in order to ensure the student's responses and hard work are associated with the correct student. Also, all secure testing materials must be maintained in a secure, locked location. Secure materials include test booklets, all used answer documents, any used scratch paper, and any reader scripts, translated versions of the test, or other accommodated forms of the test. Again, testing irregularities should be monitored and addressed appropriately. If needed, authorized users submit incident reports through the secure site for MDE resolution or documentation. I will discuss this further in the Common Problems portion of this presentation. As with the online test directions, Paper-pencil test directions are grade-specific. And again, it is important that test administrators read the test directions before administering the test. This is true even when a test administrator has administered the same M-STEP assessment in a previous year. It is important to refresh one's memory about the assessment before administering it. Answer documents must have the barcode label affixed in the space provided before administering the test. If additional barcode labels are needed for any reason, for example, a student has enrolled after the pre-ID for barcode labels deadline on February 17, 2021, they can be printed from the secure site. Go to Assessment Registration, select Barcode Labels, and complete the search criteria. Accommodations and supports, if provided, must also be completed on the answer document by a test administrator or building coordinator. And test booklets should be securely stored and given to test administrators at the start of a testing session. Any scratch paper used during testing must be collected for shredding. Used scratch paper and used graph paper are secure materials. Student names need to be written on scratch paper used so that if a break is taken, it can be returned to the correct student. Scratch paper must be blank. It can be either lined or unlined. Be sure that all test administrators are aware of the full M-STEP scratch paper policy before testing. The scratch paper policy is available on the M-STEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/mstep. For both the online and paper-pencil administration, test administrators should actively monitor the assessment. This includes moving through the room to view testers and maintain a view of all students throughout the test session. Test administrators' full attention must remain on testing at all times. Any distraction must be avoided, including any side conversations, reading, eating, or completing other work during the test. For safety and security, if video surveillance cameras are already in place in a testing room and are used to maintain security, they are allowed to be used during the test session. Cameras should be directed away from the test items, and any recording of a test session must be deleted as soon as possible after the test session. Users can monitor test completion in the DRC INSIGHT Portal on the student status screen by grade and by content. Users can monitor progress toward completion throughout the test administration using this screen. As a reminder, the screen shows progress toward completion of students who are assigned to test sessions. It does not identify students who are expected to test by the MDE, but were not assigned to the test session. Assessment coordinators must make sure that all students who are expected to test are pre-ID'd in the secure site and assigned to all of the appropriate test sessions, either through the secure site or in the DRC INSIGHT Portal. Materials need to be collected after the test administrations for both online and paper-pencil administrations. Be sure that signed security compliance forms are collected from all staff involved in test administration. Also, final copies of testing schedules must be completed and collected. These should be kept for 3 years after the test administration. For paper-pencil administrations, all test booklets and answer documents must be collected. Any used answer document must have the correct barcode label affixed, and any accommodations used need to be filled in on the answer document. Also, be sure the student information is completed and matches the information on the barcode label, in the event the barcode label becomes damaged or falls off the document. The test administration manual includes detailed instructions for materials return. Next, I will discuss what to do when any problems arise during the test administration. It's important to note that problems do sometimes occur during testing that are outside of the control of the school or district. Having the issue is not necessarily the concern. It is important that the issue is addressed appropriately and reported appropriately using the established policies and procedures. All of the information I will cover here and more is included in the test administration manual. When you encounter any of these issues or any other issues during testing, It's important that you refer to your TAM to know how to address it appropriately. Anytime that a testing irregularity occurs, an incident report should be filed with the Office of Educational Assessment and Accountability within 2 school days. Detailed information regarding how to address an irregularity, including many possible scenarios, and the most frequent irregularities that occur, is provided in the M-STEP Test Administration Manual. The secure site also has detailed, step-by-step instructions for submitting an incident report at www.michigan.gov/securesitetraining. Some examples of testing irregularities can be if a student becomes ill and goes home before completing a test, or a student may transfer from or into the school during the testing window, or if a building emergency occurs during the test session. Also, if a student is not provided assigned accommodations or is provided accommodations that are not assigned, or a student prohibited behavior occurred during the test administration. These irregularities are examples of reasons that an incident report should be submitted. Incident reports are submitted through the secure site. Users select the Student Assessments tab at the top of the page, and then Incident Reports in the drop-down menu. Once you have selected the test cycle and entity information, select the grade, content area, and testing mode. Based on these selections, the incident category drop-down will update. Then select the incident subcategory. Directions about what category and subcategory should be used based on your situation can be found in the Incident Reporting table in the M-STEP Test Administration Manual. This table is organized based on the incident categories and listed in the drop-down menu of the secure site. Perhaps the most common problem that happens in the online administration is a student submitting a test before completing it. When this happens, if there are 5 or fewer questions answered, contact the call center at 1-877-560-8378 and select option 2. If there are more than 5 questions answered, then an incident report is required. Another common problem is if a student becomes ill or is removed from the test session before completing the test. For an online administration, collect the student's test ticket, instruct the student to pause and exit the test, and the test may be resumed in a later test session using the original test ticket. For a paper-pencil administration, the test administrator should collect the test materials and flag the last question answered. The test can then be resumed during a makeup session, and an incident report is required to be submitted by the district assessment coordinator. Students testing on Chromebook who have the wrong keyboard setting, US International Keyboard, will not be able to use the quotation marks or apostrophes while in text boxes. To resolve this issue before testing begins, choose Settings on the Chromebook, then choose Keyboard Settings, and be sure US Keyboard is selected. If this happens during testing, have the student click outside of the text box, then press Ctrl-Shift-Spacebar, which will bring up the option to select the US keyboard setting. In the online administration, there may be an issue with inside disconnections or other technical errors. This can be due to a local connectivity issue or a network issue, or it may be an issue that needs to be resolved with DRC. So the first step in any situation of a technical issue while testing online is to contact your local technology coordinator. If the technology coordinator cannot resolve the problem, then they should contact DRC customer support. And if necessary, the district assessment coordinator should submit an incident report if the problem cannot be solved by the technology coordinator or DRC's customer support. I've just gone through a few of the most common scenarios that can come up during testing. Make sure to review your test administration manual if you encounter these or any other issues during testing. Finally, I will discuss Chapter 3 of the M-STEP Test Administration MME Day training after the M-STEP Test Administration. In this section, I will be discussing the handling of materials after testing, return of materials for paper pencil materials, and reporting. First, I will discuss the appropriate handling of secure and non-secure materials after testing. Next, I will cover the packaging and return of materials for schools with paper pencil materials. I will end by discussing preliminary reports availability and final reports. Some secure materials must be destroyed after testing. There are secure materials that need to be securely destroyed for both online and paper pencil testing. In online testing, examples of secure materials include test tickets and rosters, and all scratch paper and graph paper used. These materials must be securely destroyed after the test administration. For paper pencil testing, examples of secure materials include all used scratch paper must be securely destroyed. Be sure to review the instructions for materials returned section of the M-STEP Test Administration Manual. The instructions for materials return are included in the M-STEP Test Administration Manual and lists which secure materials should be returned to the M-STEP contractor, what schools should keep, and what schools must destroy. Secure materials that need to be returned to the M-STEP contractor include all used answer documents, the orange special handling envelope, all used and unused test booklets, and any accommodated versions of the test. If there are no secure materials that need to be returned, then it is not necessary to return the orange special handling envelope. The preliminary reports are available within 48 hours of the student submitting the test and will remain available until final reports are released. They are accessed through the secure site by selecting the Reports dropdown and then selecting Dynamic Score Reports. The preliminary reports include only machine-scored items. They do not include any hand-scored items. And it is also important to remember that preliminary data is for school use only and may not be shared with the public. Schools must treat this as embargoed data. More detailed information about the preliminary reports and the data in the preliminary reports is available in the Guide to Preliminary Reports, available during the test administration. These are some helpful links for you throughout the M-STEP test administration. Best Practices MSDS Reporting Guide for Trouble-Free Accountability Data, the Assessment Coordinator Training Guide webpage, which includes the link to the bookmarks for the Michigan State assessments, the new Assessment Coordinator Training Guide, the M-STEP webpage link, and Secure Site Training. If you don't already receive the weekly spotlight in your email on Thursdays, be sure to sign up. You'll get up-to-date information on all assessment-related issues and tasks, including reminders about upcoming tasks and deadlines, administration updates, report information, and more. Thank you for joining me for this presentation. If you have any questions, call the number on this slide or send an email to mde-oeaa@michigan.gov.